just a baked potato, and I asked for it with just baked beans, and they said, oh, no cheese on it. And I said, no, I'm vegan. And there were 5 people working behind the stall, and they all turned and looked at me like, so that's what a vegan looks like. Well, it's that time of year where we're collecting windfalls from the garden. I'm stewing them up and making lots of baked goods with it, and bread, and chopping them into salad, and it's a perfect filling fruit. Okay, I'm trying to make some apple and walnut sweetbread as a snack for us during the week. We're going to a Trunchonbury festival this weekend, so we need something yummy. These are windfalls from the garden. We've got an apple tree out there, so I've mushed up lots of these fairly sour apples to replace the oil in the recipe, and I'm going to be using flaxseed to hold it together, and I'm going to use various flours, I believe. I'm going to use some chickpea flour, some oat flour, and some rice flour, all of which are health foods. Right, this is a favourite lunch I've been doing recently. I toast pittas on one side and then turn it over and toast them again, and then they're nice and hot and you can split them open. And inside I put dry fried kale, spinach, bean sprouts, chopped tomato, a couple of spoonfuls of beans, in this case it was white cannellini beans, turmeric, chopped up spring peppers, and really any other vegetables I want. I crush them in there with hummus lining the side, and then I sprinkle it with sriracha sauce, which is the nicest hot sauce that I know, or you can have anything at all. Delicious. People have been asking me how I can cook and fry on the hob top without oil, and I just want to show this meal we're having tonight. This is coconut, this is cauliflower grated rice, so you basically just grate a raw cauliflower, and I'm just warming it up on a hot stove there, hot pan. And then this was just, I just threw into a very hot pan, red peppers, green peppers, fresh herbs, mushrooms, spinach, courgettes, chickpeas, anything really, and just sort of threw it all around with some herbs, paprika and turmeric and garam masala, and then a couple of tomatoes, which makes it a little bit wet, and that adds a little bit to the steaming, but it's absolutely fine. And honestly, you just do not miss the oil, so that's going to be a really nice meal. Well, it's that time of year again where you get cheap pomegranates needing to be sold on the day, like 50 or 60p, and as they're one of the most nutritious juices you can have, I'm doing again my own juicing, so it probably takes about 5-10 minutes. You have to remove the white pith from the berries, but it does actually come off quite easily. Bring that up. I mean, you blend it till all the little seeds break, and then you stop. You don't pulverise the whole thing, and then you strain it. So I'll report back later. Well, it made about 4 of these glassfuls, and I ground it up in my NutriBullet blender using the milling blade, and when it was all milky looking with the particles still floating in it, I pour it into the bag. I actually put the bag inside the jug, and then I pour it in the bag and then slowly squeeze it out. Really delicious, and it's one of the best juices you can possibly have for health benefits. Right. Quite pleased with my dinner tonight, although we haven't tasted it. This is giant couscous cooked in a frying pan with liquid aminos, which gives it a bit of saltiness, some piri-piri, or jalapeno sauce, ginger, coriander, oregano, and then chopped up fresh mince, mint, basil and parsley. And then that all stewed up to make the couscous in 5 minutes. And then for the topping, it's borlotti beans, 2 sorts of nuts, peanuts and walnuts, mushrooms, red cabbage, carrots chopped up, cauliflower chopped up, kale, and whatever I had else in the fridge really, but hopefully it will be quite tasty. Well, this is stage 2 of my fabulous flapjacks, with a difference. If you remember last time, they're a bit dry. I'm going to get the same friend who tested them out to try and test these out at our festival. Much the same recipe, blended up a tin of chickpeas. This time I also did a flax egg, which is 1 tablespoon of flax with 2 tablespoons of water, which acts as binding. I also put in some maple syrup and some molasses, which is actually very good for you. It's the byproduct of cane sugar. Got lots of B vitamins, although it is technically a processed food. But I won't be the only one eating this. Hopefully the family will enjoy them as well. Put in a couple of sorts of nuts, hazelnuts and peanuts, and also the seeds, sesame, poppy, chia and sunflower. A bit more cacao this time, and raisins, and really just whatever you've got around. Maca powder this time as well. So I'm trying to make little patties with them, little cakes, and I'm also going to put them in this brownies tray in the hope that they'll cut themselves up nicely and won't stick. Right, well, they fit in beautifully. Squash them down solid. I forgot to say the main difference, of course, is I put lots of my stewed apple in it from the tree to make it lovely and moist and wet. So hopefully the dryness that my friend was complaining about last time won't be a problem this time. 2 recommendations I've found since I got back to England that have come out in the supermarkets. One is the Linda McCartney veg cakes, which are spicy and really lovely. Mainly lentil based, I think. They're very nice though. Had those with vegetables. It's gorgeous. And then the other discovery I made, it probably isn't a particularly new one, but we were in Nando's and I discovered they have the portobello mushroom and halloumi wrap, and you just sub out the halloumi for extra avocado, and that is really delicious. And they also have a super grain salad, and you opt to not have their creamy dressing, but instead they do a piri piri house dressing, which is vegan. So it's worth remembering if you go to Nando's, portobello mushroom wrap and super grain salad.